Why you don't do two? I already...
Okay, do yours. There we go. What's up, everybody?
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed.
In all these years. Nothing has changed.
You still can't get the clap sync right.
We look the same. We are...
Do we look the same? My hair's different. I have short hair now.
Yeah.
Not that...
You didn't really have long hair back then.
I had the, like, comb over where it was long and I would do that. You know, where I go, like, whoosh,
Slick back.
which I could still probably do eventually when I wait long enough, when my hair gets long.
Yeah.
You know? But, so, we're back. I get... Well, okay,
We've done this a few times.
We've said this every time we
make
a video.
I'm going to reserve that for a bit. But yeah. I'm saying I want to go back. I want to take me back.
You want to go back?
Yeah. Take me back to a time before when the world was simple. Pre-COVID. Okay, I know, we're just as awkward as it used to be. But, like, we didn't even... For 2 years, there's no way we couldn't even considered really trying this again. Because of COVID. Like, everything was shut down. Everybody was in different places, all over the place and whatnot. And everyone's lives were topsy-turvy. I was in school for a year. I don't know if I've updated people on this channel. I went to animation school for a year. I have a job now at an animation studio. That's my full-time gig. I moved to this apartment. I don't know. I've been doing stuff. Made a short film. That was in a film festival.
Zach does stand-up now.
Started doing stand-up comedy. So, like, a lot of things have changed. I mean, Curt's been doing his own thing for a while now. He's playing hockey.
I just do the same thing. I work at the gym.
No.
And,
you do shit.
I do.
You live alone
stuff.
now, too?
Yes, I live alone. What was happening? Like, what was I living? Not that it matters. Does it really matter? Do people care where I was living when we were doing GMV? I guess it started when I was living with my...
Cares about any of this yet.
Whatever. Yeah, nobody. You guys don't really care.
They'll come back. They'll watch
any of this, but
yeah,
all three of you. It's okay. We're back. But so Zach confronted me.
I yelled at him.
He didn't yell at me.
No, I didn't yell at you.
But when was it? Was it at that birthday thing?
Last Saturday.
Yeah.
Oh no, this is 2 Saturdays ago.
Was that when it was?
Yeah, my impromptu kind of birthday thing. I had people over at my apartment.
He was like, Curtis. He grabbed my shoulders and he was like, Curtis, we need to do this again. I'm ready. I don't know what I was doing this whole time.
Yeah.
Kind of something like that. I remember.
Well, I was kind of like, I never... When I first went to animation school, you're like, give me a year of your life and then I'll show you, like, we could make something. And I was like,
I take it back.
Yeah. And then I wasn't in a place at the time to do that because I was in school or was about to go to school, I think. But now things have settled. And, like, I probably would have taken you up on that sooner had the craziest thing happen. A fucking pandemic hit, you know?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah, COVID literally fucked up my year.
Yeah.
But, not mess up everybody's life. But, things changed, you know? Like, I went to school. Like, I had all these other things. I wanted to do a comic. And the thing is, like, I've hit this point in my life where things are a bit more independent, a bit more... I wouldn't say comfortable, but I was like, I want to do like 80 things. I want to do stand-up. I've been doing stand-up now, trying to get on more stages. It's tough. Mm-hmm. But I've done a few sets now, 3. I still like making comics. I obviously like doing animation because my career's in it. I like writing short stories. I like the idea of doing skits. I like I've written short film ideas, like all these things. I've made shirt designs. I was like, it'd be cool to do that, but like I can never be like, I'm gonna focus all my efforts in this one thing, and that's like the one thing I would do. Because I would start to do that, and then I'd be like, yeah, but I want to go do stand up now. Yeah, I want to go do this now. I want to go do this now. And I was always getting like, I think I have talent in a lot of regards for certain things, and I think I do have the drive to do creative endeavors.
I'm just kidding.
Please cut to you on that part. When it comes to artistic things like drawing and stuff, I think I mean, I've obviously worked on those skills. So it's like, where do I do? And then I'm like, it would be nice if I just had this like umbrella thing where I could do all that stuff kind of how we want it whenever. And then I was like, well, fuck, we kind of had that. It was GMV. It was basically guys making videos. Could have been that entire umbrella of whatever the fuck we wanted to do. And I was also like really missing doing collaborations with people because I think that always really breeds the best stuff. And I was like, if Curt and I really worked at it and put the effort in, like, we could make something, I think. And like, I was also like, I miss like hanging out with the guys and that camaraderie. And obviously their lives are in different places, and they've even told us, like, hey, our commitment level is very low, but like obviously we want to come out when we can. And I was like, you know what, that's perfect. If we're gonna do it right this time, I think just leave it open and be like, hey, we're filming a video this day, you guys want to come out. If not, no pressure. I won't, there's no hard feelings, And like, they were all in agreement with it when I talked to them. They all even seemed kind of more like interested again. I'm not gonna like speak for them, but I've been talking to them, and I did some animations for GMV now and stuff, and like, we're trying to basically, Curt and I are like, I'll hand it over to you, but like, Curt and I were talking about like, let's just do stuff and see where we can go with this for a bit, and then hopefully if it's like gaining some momentum, then those guys will be like, fuck, I miss it a lot. Like, I'm willing to put more of my time into that. If not, no big deal. Like, no hard feelings once again, and we'll just, everyone's cool with it, so. Anyway, where are you at with this? Because I did approach you drunkenly at a party and be like, Curt, come back to me. Like,
I only said yes because it was your birthday.
Exactly, yeah. I found the perfect time to guilt you. So
no, I think it's interesting to look back at how all of this came to whatever, like all the way from the beginning too. Like, I don't know if people know the story. We probably talked about it before in previous podcasts, but now's a good time to like recap really quick how like I met
last time on GMV.
Yeah. No, this is a recap from like the beginning.
Yeah.
I met Zach at university. I've known Sim my whole life, and then I met Brat when I worked at the gym, and then he had that website already doing whatever, and then
like game reviews and stuff.
And stuff. So we worked on that. I pulled Zach and Sim in. We started making videos, and then that first channel actually didn't like pan out. We ended up stopping that for a little while. Yeah. And then when we restarted, I remember saying, like, talking with you guys and Brad specifically about like, okay, if we do it again, I kind of want to have more of like a leadership role, because like I always talk about this, how there's
this is for you specifically.
Yeah.
You said we talked about it, so I just wanted to...
Yeah. No, I mean like the group.
Yeah.
We talked about it where I was like, because there's I kind of look at it like it's on a spectrum, but there's like two kinds of ways that I see like organizations working really well together.
Yeah.
And there's one where, they're rare and far and few between or whatever, but like everybody just on the same page, they get along, like Christopher Nolan and his brother write scripts together and they just play off each other. And I think there's chemistry, and I think we have some of that with certain parts of the work that we do.
Yeah.
But in terms of like a holistic general direction, the other side of the spectrum is that there's like a guy that's like the Steve Jobs character. That's like, this is the direction. Like, and then that's what I was kind of saying is if we start up and have this new channel, which was guys making videos that we figured out later, I would like to have more of that leadership role where I try to like, I'm gonna like talk to everyone. We're gonna like discuss everything. We're gonna try to go back and forth and like figure it out and whatever. But in the end, like I want to try to be the one that makes those decisions. And it's because at the time I was also doing most of the editing and most of the work.
You were doing the lion's share of the work.
Yeah, which I accepted, right?
Yeah.
And so
you're not butthurt about that.
But part of that, I think, because that's a big reason why when I look back, like, and this is where I talk about like when you came to me, it felt kind of like. Because and this is actually proven in neuroscience, I guess it's kind of like the brain uses the same circuits for things, is that it felt like an ex-girlfriend coming back.
I was about to say, do they feel like an ex-girlfriend's like...
being like, hey, like, let's try again.
Take me back.
Yeah, like, let's try again. It's going to be different this time. And which is interesting because, like, it's been a while now since we've stopped. Like, it's been at least 2-3 years, and the way it kind of ended was like not bad. It was just we weren't putting a lot of time up, and people weren't free. We kind of just faded off. We just weren't making content anymore. And I called it, right. I was kind of like, all right, there's no point in me trying to like pretend like we're still doing it when we like don't even meet up anymore. That much, and we're still friends. We still hang out. We played COD. We hang out. We go fucking party with each other and whatever. So we're still friends. We just didn't make videos for like years now, right? Again, part of it maybe the pandemic and stuff as well. but I never wanted to, like, you know, I got to that point where I always think very fondly about those times because that was like a huge step up in my life. Like that's where I grew like a lot, right? Like back in university, like Zach met me when I was still kind of figuring it out. I'm like, I want to do something video creative, something, but I didn't have an outlet. Like I didn't know, but it's a specific, like the word we used to talk about, right? Like the outlet for like this creative energy.
Yeah.
And that channel, especially when I took on that leadership role, was that like thing for me, and I grew a lot through that, like in so many different ways, right? Like we always talk about the first time where we filmed Seeing Double, the show where we make jokes and get drunk, like playing video games, and like the difference between that and our comfortability when we like do the vlogs and the later episodes of Seeing Double. We did a sitcom.
Yeah, we did a whole sitcom.
Yeah, like just the way, how much we grew through that channel from start to, you know, the end or whatever. And so like I always think very fondly about those times, right? I always think back like, you know, like, oh, those are really good times, right? Like same thing like an ex-girlfriend kind of thing. And also, I think another key part, I don't know if it was partly because of the leadership role or whatever, but I had this vision of what Guys Making Videos was, and I think a lot of people that watched it, which again, we didn't have like a huge following, but the people that understood what I was going for, what we were going for. Yeah. Like I was very close to that, which was like, you know, a group of guys, like a bunch of guys, kind of like, you know, like Power Rangers, we're like a team kind of thing, right?
Exactly.
And so like, because I had that vision, I believed in it so much. Like I loved it. That's how much, like I feel like a marker of that is the fact that I started the vlog. Because I feel like you only really start a vlog when you're like, look how cool whatever it is I'm doing is. Look how cool that, because like otherwise you'd be like, who the fuck's gonna watch a vlog? Like just us doing my life, like you living life, like who's gonna watch that? Who cares? But because I believed in it so much, I was like, yo, this is so cool. Like we made like 3 different videos today. We're always chilling, making jokes. We're together all the time, right? We're a team. We work together. We're always working, trying to make it work. And the quotes, the funny things that happens and all that stuff, like I believed in it. Like I saw the vision. Yeah. And I always, and it's funny because I would always say to you guys, like, I don't care that you guys like didn't want to make content and stuff like that. Like that you guys like eventually got busy, and like I totally get it, right? Like Sim's a super busy guy. Everybody has different responsibilities and priorities. I have nothing against that. I just worry that like in the future, if you guys felt like something about that vision, kind of you remember it, you look back and you're kind of like, we should have done it, or like we could have done it and we gave it up kind of thing. Then I'd be like, well, we should have just stuck with it, because I felt at that time like if we just stuck with it, if we stayed the course, like we would have, I saw it going somewhere. Like I was seeing, you know, obviously there's times where you feel on and off or whatever, but for the most part overall, I was like, I think if we stay the course, we're going to get somewhere.
Like there was momentum to it.
Yeah, but
it's kind of that, there's that saying, it's like you don't know they're the good times till they're over.
Exactly, right? It's funny because Sim was saying that too. Hopefully he says it on the podcast at some point, where he's like, back then he thought he didn't have time, like he barely had time to do GMV, whereas like now he's like, oh, I'm even more busy. Like I actually had time back then. Yeah. So he's like, well, I feel like that later, where like I'll get even more busy. Maybe he has a kid or something, and then he'll be like, oh, I actually did have time. I don't know why I didn't just do it. Kind of thing, which is interesting to think about. But that being said, the reason why it felt like the X coming back was because it'd been enough time that I'm like, okay, I don't want to be that guy that's like, you know, the reminiscent high school guy that's just like, oh, you know, GMV, the good times, like, you know, those are the good times, and like I need to like move past this. The same thing with a breakup, right? I need to move past this. I need to, you know, grow and change and like move past this. So it's funny when like I feel like I'm like pretty close to like maybe only in the past or whatever, like a couple months or like this year, where I like felt like I was like, okay, I moved, like I started doing pixel art and game design stuff. I started doing roller hockey. I started playing piano, and this is where like the first like steps in momentum that wasn't like video making stuff. And back when I used to do like more kickboxing and stuff, which I still do. But this is like a new era. I was thinking about like game development, roller hockey, piano. These are like the new things.
And I'm then moving into came in and fucked it all.
And then Zach comes in and he's like,
and I was drunk just like an old ex would be when they ask you to come back.
And he's like, let's go back.
You see that momentum you're doing your own time? Fuck it.
So that was interesting. That was like, I was like tentative, and I still am a little bit like hesitant. Partly because, and hopefully they'll be on the podcast.
I'm gonna hurt you again.
Yeah, I know, right? Nothing's changed. People don't change. No, but I think also we know ourselves a little bit better. Like again, talking with like everybody else I've talked to, like with Sim and Brad. Where like they are more upfront about like the commitment that they're like, not like more upfront, but like they know what it takes because we've done it, and so they can more appropriately, set aside the time and energy that they think they have.
Totally.
Right. Whereas before, I'm sure like there's certain things you wanted to do, but then when you try, you're like, okay, this is a lot of work kind of thing, exactly. Right? So yeah, again, hopefully we'll have like Brad and Sim on the podcast before. But I was talking to Brad yesterday or the other day about it, and he was saying how like he's mostly, and actually I think he talked to you about this too, where he's like mostly more geared towards like front desk and seeing double and more like
he wants the more higher production stuff.
Yeah, which on some level, I like
totally get that.
I get in the sense of like we need to make use of the talent when we have them. Like obviously we're not going to do like when we have the amount of people that we have, which is a rare occasion. Yeah. So we need to maximize having them in those situations.
But seeing double's a whole different beast. I don't know how we. Oh no, sorry, not seeing double. Front desk.
But. Yeah, like that's one where like we can't do it unless we have those people, and that's a rare occasion to have everybody available.
Totally.
Right.
Even
so like
more so now.
Yeah. Right.
So who knows if that will ever come? I'm not gonna promise anything, but I mean, if front desk, because that's the thing I show people the most, and they're like, "Yo, you guys are actually funny. You could have been YouTube famous and shit like that." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, all right." Like, I'm like, "Yeah, we had some good moments."
Well, you can follow me right now. Follow.
Yeah, why am I not famous?
Go follow. Go give me a like. Give me a like then if you think. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but like, just from my side, or sorry, do you want to?
Oh no, you continue. Whatever.
Just from my side, like I started doing stand up and like just hit 30 and all that stuff, and I was like, you know what, I'm still doing goofy shit and I just don't have a direction to put this anywhere because I wanted to make a comic book before, and I still want to someday, but it's just like it's hard for me to be like, I'm gonna commit like 10 years to this and then like also want to do music and also want to do stand up and also want to do all that. I'm like, yo, like I kind of miss just doing creative shit with my friends, and like if we have just this one branch, this one umbrella, it like at least we're all building towards something, and things are always more fun with your friends and stuff. And it's like, if anyone is also gonna get like gung ho on this shit, it would be you. So I was like before it was all on your shoulders, and this time I'm trying to be like, yo, I want to help as much as possible now to like let's look at the channels, let's see where we need to trim the fat, let's see where we need to put our attention. Like I just want to do shit. And now I met all these comedians too, and I'm like, I know so many comedians that would probably be down to be in a video, and they're already pretty funny.
Because you like whoever hasn't done this before and has always been curious, you'd be surprised how much like you could just use an extra guy to like just press record on the camera.
Exactly.
Like you just need like just hands. Like that's why like film sets have like thousands of people.
Totally. And we're like guerrilla filmmaking, small
to the point where like we only have one camera and we have to shoot both guys. One guy shoots all his lines and we use the other camera, and they shoot all the other lines.
Exactly.
Right? Like just very like low budget because like we don't have the people, right? A lot of it is just the hands, right? It's not necessarily the equipment.
Yeah. So I'm sure like stuttered so bad there. I'm sure like the way we approach it initially, I know. So the way we approach it initially will be very maybe different from the start of like the content we made, and then it's kind of, I'm hoping we can kind of like ramp up to kind of something that, like I would love to do Seeing Double again. I would love to do if we could do Front Desk again. Like we wrote a third season. Like I don't know if people know this. We wrote like most of a third season.
Yeah, I don't know if we're.
And then fucking COVID hit. And it's like there's no fucking way we're gonna be allowed to film in the gym with the protocols that were going on. Yeah. Now everything's dropped, obviously, but it's just like
it was. Lots changed. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, like there was a period where it's like there is definitely a 0% chance we would ever be allowed to film Front Desk at the gym right now. Like. Mm-hmm. And it seemed like for years and years to come. So, but we could probably now. It would be the manpower and
timing and availability and all that stuff, right? Because we can't film in the middle of the day anymore. I don't think we should film at like nighttime. But anyway, I mean,
it depends on the episode.
Yeah, it depends.
It's all nighttime now. We rewrote it. No, but yeah.
But the other thing is like going back to like the commitment level and like the difference that like, cause it's part of the reason why I was hesitant, because it's the setup is going to be different, even though it might have been the same. It's just like now it's more in my face that like, me and Zach would be more of the showrunners in general, right? Like Brad said he wants to get involved with writing, and he said he'll even edit Seeing Doubles and stuff like that. But the core of like the production and all that stuff, or whatever, like I can only imagine right now, at least we haven't done it yet, would mostly be me and Zach.
Totally.
Where there's a point where I know like Brat and Sim had different levels of commitment before, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying to Zach before, was that if Sim and Brat were like immediately like, yo, I'm just as in as you guys.
Yeah.
Which I knew wasn't gonna happen. That's why I kind of like gave up on it for. But if that was the case, if that's what I heard, then obviously would be a little bit less hesitant. I'd be like, okay, I know what this looks like. But right now, the setup is like mostly me and Zach, I think, with the core of it. And then Brat and Sim when they're available. Yeah. Sim probably is the least available because he's got a lot of things going on in his life, but he's down when he's free.
Totally.
And has the energy. But I know like this is also like what I think. In the end, though, like, this is originally what it's sort of, at its truest form, has kind of always been. In the sense of, Zach and I are very, like, committed to, like you said, all these weird stuff, whatever. Like, we like to be artists. Like, we like to do these creative things. Like I said, like, the way I went after, you know, accepting the loss of GMV or whatever, right, was, you know, more creative stuff, right? Pixel art, piano, that's pretty, you know, Zach, this is why Zach and I are always like, what could we do together? Because we're both committed to these,
we always had that like, problem too. Like what do we do? We started another channel at one point, EasyXP. Yeah. And it was like we had a few skits, and then we had like mainly podcasts and or like just talking. Yeah. And it was like but it just didn't have that like same like this is us thing, you know? Like, and the thing with GMV is like that could stand for so many things. Like I know it's guys making videos, but it could be guys making video games if we decide to make a video. It could be groups making videos. It could be exactly. I don't know. Like I see now. It's like we already had the thing. It doesn't matter. Like we always said this back in the day. It doesn't matter what the fucking name is. Yeah. It's what you put behind the name. Obviously, there's some really bad names that we learned that the hard way.
Wasn't our idea.
Yeah, wasn't our idea. But anyways, we're not gonna get into that. But like, you know, there's something there, and like we already have this like basis of content already that we can go back to and like repost and like all these things. And I think even through reposting some of these things, even some of those guys might be like, yeah, I was funny in that moment, or that was fun, or that was good. I do miss that, you know. And it's like that would be a hope, but like there's no like pressure on that either. It's
of course,
because like there will be. You'll see me and Curt a lot, and you might see those guys and stuff. Maybe you won't, who knows? But you will see a lot of new faces too if we keep this up. Like there's gonna be people that have to help us. And
Pecky,
you know,
Juno.
Yeah, exactly. Always my friends. Yeah, other people I know, but like also just like I've been meeting these other comedians, like I said, and I saw an opportunity there because I'm like. These are people who would probably be down, you know, and they're not worried about being like, oh, I'm 35 or oh, I'm this age, you know, like, you know, because like I know a lot of people be like, oh, you're 30 and you're gonna restart a YouTube channel, like, but I don't really, I'm like I'm still young, I don't give a shit, like, I'm.
Really? You think there's people? I guess yeah.
There's some.
Actually, no, there are. Yeah.
We're talking about Sim getting extra busy and maybe having a kid and all these things, and it's like, you know.
Hey, I just said
Sim.
You're having a kid, no.
Yeah. Wear protection.
But I mean, we talked about this too. It's like if we know also, and you like anybody listening to this would know this too, right? It's like you kind of just have to convince people that it's a thing, which like then and it actually kind of becomes a thing. Like I'm not saying fake it till you make it necessarily. But it's like what are
it to a point it's that others like, believe it, you know?
Yeah, it's like what is anything really like? So like it's like what is the Nike sign? It's like it's just a switch. It doesn't really. But the fact that like the fact that literally everybody but like yo, it's Nike. Like yo, like that's,
people camp out
like,
for that shit.
Yeah, like they believe in it. Like it's a thing. It's become a thing. Like because you believe in it. Like same thing. I don't know if this is true or not. But like, didn't Champion come back and be popular because like one of the like Kylie Jenner or something wore it or something? I don't know if that's true.
It was something like that.
Something like that. And then now I go into like one of these expensive whatever Boys Co kind of thing, and then there's like the Champion hoodies are in the front table, and
I'm like Champion used to be the cheapest shit. Yeah, like sports stuff.
Like $100 a Champion hoodie. I'm like, really?
It was a generic hoodie before just a Champion.
Yeah, so it's that. But anyway, again, those are like. The potentially negative examples.
That's the power of branding, like you said.
But yeah, it's like if you can convince people that it's a thing and like make it an actual thing. Because that's what I was saying, going back to like the vision that I had before, was like I legitimately, genuinely believed in it. And I thought it was a thing. We were a thing. Like, we're the guys, we're like, we making jokes and whatever. And so I think a lot of people felt that. Like, I remember some of my friends even were saying to me that like they saw whatever we were doing and they're like, I don't know exactly what you guys are doing, but like I want to be a part of it.
Exactly.
Because they felt like they were funny too, and like they could be a part of it. They're like, "Yo, imagine if I guest starred in one of your videos, right? That'd be hilarious." I'm like, "Yeah, that'd be sick, right?"
That's the way they broach it.
Yeah. And then the other thing I was gonna say is like this umbrella thing. I remember specifically. You can go back to watching the first vlog, where
go. I dare you.
I dare you.
I don't even remember it.
I remember it very well. I watched that first one a lot. But we intentionally, or I tried to push for the name to be intentionally vague or like ambiguous, so that we wouldn't be pigeonholed into like, this is what we're doing.
Yeah, this is the only
specifically
thing,
right? So this is why it can be this umbrella. Okay, umbrella. Sorry, not umbrella like this, but like this. Right? Who will do umbrella like that? But so that we could do all kinds of stuff. Collecting water, right? Collecting the views and the subscribers.
There you go. Like, comment, subscribe, comment.
So that we could do all kinds of stuff, right? Because I remember specifically one of those podcasts early on, I think it was like me, you, and Brat, where Brat thought it was the other way, kind of, which I get it. It's easier to like pitch this to people when you're like, this is what we're doing. We're doing, like, for now, what we would say is like, we're doing front desk, seeing double, vlogs. Those are our things. We do those things.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what he was saying when we changed channels, is like we're more like streamlined. But I went the other way. I'm kind of like, well, no, the reason why, like, the fact that we're not even called anything specific, we're called guys making videos. Like, what does that even mean?
It's just very generic.
It's the most generic thing.
But it works.
Because it's intentionally vague, so we can do whatever we want and be like, well, I thought you, like, if, like, let's say we're guys like gym bros or something, you'd be like, oh, you're not, what, gym bros are making videos that aren't about gym, like, why are you, I don't get it.
Why are you doing a COD video?
Yeah, like something like that, right? But guys making videos is intentionally vague so that it allows us to do whatever we want to do.
Totally.
Because it's like, it's like Rooster Teeth, right? It's kind of like, what does that even mean? Like, who knows? Well, it's like, well, it's like you said, it's what you do with the name. It's not the name itself.
Exactly, yeah.
And again, I think Zach and I still have that view on, like, going forward, is like trying to do different things that may or may not work, right? And like experimenting and trying all types of content, like we might make a video game, whatever, all these things. But it's interesting because I know some people, because, I like Brad and I were talking about this, and he's like, well, I only kind of want to be, he told you this too, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I only kind of want to be involved in like front desk and seeing doubles and like produce content. Like, he's down to do like newer stuff too, like experimental stuff, as long as it's like a produced, like, like a lot of effort went into, which I get it. And I can see, like, again, it makes sense, like we were talking about before, like maximizing the time that we have with him.
Yeah.
But I think me and Zach would also, because we have more time, we're dedicated to this in a different way. It's kind of like thinking about, because what Brad said kind of sounds almost like, I only want to be, I think of sports, I'd only like to be involved in the plays that score goals. Kind of thing, right? Which isn't what he's saying necessarily, but I know there's people that think about stuff kind of like that, right? Like, why would I go to school if I'm not going to get the job and get the degree, right? Like, scoring the goals, right? Like, why would I go do this if I'm not going to, like, why would I go out if I'm not going to end up smashing a chick at the end? Like, why would I go this if I don't get, why would I put the effort in if I don't get this like, why would I, like, people ask me all the time, like, why do I train kickboxing if I'm never going to take a fight? Kind of thing, right? Which I've always, again, this is a very Gary Vee cliche thing, but like, I've loved the process. Like, anything, it's funny because me and my dad talked about this recently too, about like roller hockey and stuff like that, how he's like, you might have to like accept that you'll never make it to be like as good as the pros and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, but that was never what I cared about. Right? Like, I never thought I was even gonna ever play hockey like I am in the first ever. I thought I played soccer and I do kickboxing. I never thought I would get to the point where I could rollerblade pretty fucking well now after just a month, and like stick handle and stuff. Like, I'm still have a long way to go, but like all of that is a bonus. Like, same with the piano. I never thought I would ever try piano. But just everything I've learned up until now is like already a win, because that's crazy. I thought I could have. There's a scenario definitely where I die without even touching a piano, so that's like crazy to me that I'm even trying, right? And so when I think of like, I only want to do the things that result in this certain goal or something like that. I don't know if that's always that's not the approach that you and I are taking with this, right? And same thing with sports is like, if all you do is just shoot at the net, you're not really going to score all the time. It takes a lot of other things like practice and all these other things, right?
Exactly.
But that's kind of like the difference between like where our commitment, I guess, and the what we're doing with like this thing, wherever it is, GMB, right? Whereas I think everybody else would be like happy to be a part of it, and varying levels of commitment might change over time. Again, if we if you convince people it's a thing, people's commitments suddenly, surprisingly, will go up because they're like, oh my god, it's a thing.
No,
like,
I don't actually.
Like, what if we suddenly had like 1 million followers? People like, hey, can I be part of a video? Like, obviously, right?
I don't actually have to go out every Saturday, it turns out.
But it's funny because I remember like, some of us at the beginning for front desk too were also kind of like, yeah, I mean, whatever, we'll see how it goes, whatever. But then now that I don't know, they see the production of how well it's gone, and they're like, yeah, we should do more front desk kind of thing. Right?
I can't tell you how many people I've actually shown. They're like, oh, it's actually really funny. I'm like, what the fuck was like? What, you thought it wasn't gonna be funny, huh? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
No,
but yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, everybody has, again, like, if same thing. Like, I think I would feel the same way if I wasn't, like, if I had other things going on in my life that I wanted to focus on, it wasn't my main thing, then I would be like, yeah, like, I'm only down to like I think there's like hockey, a lot of guys are like that for hockey. It's like, I'm only down to like come out to hockey if we have enough people to play a game.
It's like, we only get enough if you come out.
That too.
Or also like,
but I'm like, because I know some of them, like, almost when I message the group, it almost feels like they're allergic to the word practice when I say, because like, I would like to practice because eventually I see us eventually starting a team, and then we could join a league, and like, obviously if we're never gonna like start a team and join a league, then obviously there's no point in practicing unless you like have that much fun, which I do, but I know for them it's not the same. But just that level of like where you are, but to be fair, like, again, my life, I have very little like responsibilities or things that I need to do. So I'm naturally like more able to like invest and like give more time and energy to like learning roller hockey and learning all these things. Whereas I know, like, Sim and Manu, for example, like some of my friends, like, they're so busy with their work, like they have full real jobs that take like all this energy, and then they have family stuff after that, and then, like they have all these, they have girlfriends and whatever, and and then so I can see how like at the end of the day, like, to be like, oh, let's go practice hockey, or let's go make videos, like let's go put more energy. It's kind of like, I just kind of want to chill and watch like Ozark or something. Right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
So I get it. I'm just identifying the levels of commitment, like where we're all at.
Totally, yeah.
But I don't know if that's interesting to you guys, but that's just something that I was going to talk to you about anyway, so I just thought we'd put it on the pod.
Mainly talking and just hashing it out.
Yeah.
But,
I mean,
I had a point out until I forgot.
When I think about the COVID stuff, too, it actually made me realize a lot of, like, I knew it, I guess, intuitively, but because I guess I always had it, I never acknowledged it as much as I should have, which I did during COVID, which was the whole, like, having people around. Because, like, like, I always thought, and I could be, and that's why I admired those people now that are, like, solo video or whatever streamers or like solo creators.
It's tough, like,
because like
self-motivating.
Like you're just alone, like doing it, and it's like there's like, I guess, like, once you get going, you have a community, and that helps. That's the whole reason why you do it.
In a way.
Yeah, but when you're starting and you're just alone, you have no community. Like that's still insane to me.
And maintaining that motivation to do it on your own is different. That's why I was like, I've been doing all these things on my own, and I get some stuff done, but it's like, it's always more fun for me with friends. Like, I'm a social creature too. Like, I like my alone time, but also like, the fact that I would like my alone time to be going towards the thing that I can do with my friends too. Like that, to me, that social aspect. But you're just doing it, like being able to motivate each other, even if it's just like, hey, check out this thing I did, and you're like, oh yeah, that's cool. Check out this thing I'm doing, like that's cool. Like, and just being able to pump each other up and give critiques, or like be like, yeah, I'm excited for this to come out, or whatever. Like that's motivating. And
well, yeah, I mean, like I was gonna say, I always romanticized. Like I've said this already again, but the like whole group team thing, right? Like I love One Piece, right? Because it's the crew of like 10 of them.
Yeah.
Right? I always like as a young kid, I loved Power Rangers. I loved Digimon because it's like the crew, like the group, like your team, and they all have the same kind of aspirations. They're all different, so you can have your favorites or whatever, but they work together and they have like chemistry.
Totally.
And so like that's something that COVID made me realize how much I missed that.
Yeah.
Right. Because even before that, I was kind of like I could do, and I'm very confident that if I really wanted to, I could be like a solo, like whatever. Like I could do workout stuff. People love my workout stuff because they're always so curious about what I do.
Yeah.
I could do like just explaining certain things like philosophies and perspectives. I know I could be like an influencer. I don't know if I want to, but I know I could probably do it.
I've had a lot of people say like, "Oh, Curt's got a good way of like articulating like certain things that like I wasn't considering or I already knew, but I didn't know how to put into words or like what I mean like."
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is like that's something that I was going to talk to you about too, which is interesting about like I always think like our classic millennial struggle is like, what do you love? Like, what's your passion?
Yeah, what makes you happy?
What makes you happy? But I think back to that like ikigai thing, which you guys should look up ikigai, which is like the 4 things, like what you love, what you're good at, what makes you money, and what's good for the world. So you kind of want to have all those things. Either it's one thing or you get different things. You want to fulfill all 4 of those things. But what I think that whole what I love and what makes you happy thing forgets or like ignores the most is the one that's like, what can I like contribute? Like, what's good for the world? How can I contribute? Right. So when I think of like workout, I do make content like this from time to time because I know it's valuable to people.
Yeah.
Because I get a lot of questions about fitness, workout stuff. Like, what's your routine? What's your diet? Blah, blah, blah.
Totally.
And then again, I get, like you said, like I've gotten feedback and you've told me and stuff like that. Like I'm very good at articulating things. I'm very good at explaining things. And so even though I'm not like in love with making that content, there is a fulfillment to make the content that people will find value in.
Totally, yeah.
And so that's a side note that I thought was interesting. Like that could inform the types of content that we can make in the future too.
Totally. Like right? I was even like on the fence because like I still want to do stand up. I think it's a good way to practice like humor and all these things, and I find it fun. It's a high. But I was like, I know a lot of people start their own like comedian like Instagram, and I considered it, but I was like, I would like to get more, practice at it. But I was also like, honestly, I would be open to just throwing up whichever clip from my stand up onto GMV. Like, I don't even care. Like, I was like, because like, and then it's just more content.
And then I was saying like, we do front desk. After his bit, and then it'll be like Seinfeld.
Yeah, we did joke about that. But that would be pretty funny. But you
gotta do at least one episode like
one
that.
episode, yeah. And they're like, why is he doing stand up? Or it should be a joke like an episode before, and they're like, you can't be a comedian. And I'm like, oh yeah? Yeah. Anyways, we'll talk about that after. But I don't know, like it just seems like a good, like I said, I've said this so many times now, is like umbrella for everything I want to do. And like that way I don't feel so like bad about like being like, I want to do this week and this week. Like there's still certain things I know we consistently should put out and work on, or like do what we find the most fun. But also just being like, you make pixel art, why shouldn't you just put that on GMV if we're actually, you're confident enough in the like that umbrella, like why shouldn't I put random animations I make under that umbrella? Why shouldn't we do like all this shit? Like, because I was even like, I want to make animations, but I never know, like I always have the problem in the past where it's like I only think of the big picture, and then it makes me so like overwhelmed that I don't do anything. And then I'm like, hey, just do small like characters or animations that it doesn't matter where it goes, it's just to practice that. So I've been doing that. I'm like, I should just make like cool animated bumpers of random scenes like that I come up with, and that can just be like, if we stream, you just be like, be right back, and then you put the little animation up, and it says GMV. It's like it could be a fucking animation of anything. It could be like a plane flying in the sky or something, just anything, just to, like, but it was still I could put it under that umbrella.
And I think again going back to like the vagueness, but it's not like necessarily the vagueness, and this is what I was talking to Brad about, and this is what you'll agree with for sure about this, is like the brand of GMV isn't necessarily, to me, it's never really been like even just seeing double in front desk and the vlogs, even whatever, like whatever. It's not necessarily like the content, right? This is where you can get into like marketing brand stuff if you want to, whatever, right? But it's not even necessarily like the content that we make, But the core of it, you get the idea of it. Eventually, hopefully, this is what I was going for. This was the vision that I hoped we would like work towards, or we were working towards, or I was always trying to work towards, and I always believed in. It was about like us guys making videos, like a bunch of guys making videos like together as a team, whatever.
Totally,
like
exactly.
You know, like the team One Piece, whatever kind of thing. Like, you know, it's about. It's not like, yes, like you love to watch, you know, One Piece Luffy and the Straw Hat Pirates go on adventures and defeat the bad guys and make new friends.
It's not a Netflix adaptation.
It's not a Netflix. Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
And those things are important. Then they build that, you know, story of who those characters are. But eventually it snowballs into like, it's not even about necessarily what's happening in the story anymore. It's like just that crew means something just on its own. Like, and obviously I would watch all the adventures, whatever, but like, again, I've fallen behind on One Piece, but that idea of the crew still lives very strong within me. Like the crew, like Luffy and Zoro and Sanji. And so like, that was the kind of goal eventually with GMV, hopefully. And I think some people were starting to get it too. Like some people that watching us for sure, right? Like with the vlogs. Is like, it's not necessarily like all the content that we do. That's why to me, it didn't really matter. Like if we're experimenting with stuff or we have like all this long running series or like whatever. I love all of this stuff. But the core of it is like us as a crew. Like doing stuff together.
I can't tell how many times I've watched something or like listened to a podcast, and just because I wanted to feel like I was like hanging out with people like when I'm alone.
You guys are hanging out with us right now?
Yeah, welcome. You're looking great today. But no, like basically like what you said, like at the core of it, it's just like literally the name. It's just at the end of the day, it's just a bunch of guys making videos, or if we have girls, it'll be groups making videos. Who knows? But that's what I'm saying. It's like so open and.
Well, yeah, because I remember specifically like a lot of people, like my dad specifically too, was kind of like, you know, they'd see some of our stuff and be like I don't really get what you guys are doing. Like, you guys have like the game thing, but then you have like the vlog. But I don't even know they don't even know what, like, why are you vlogging? And then you have like, what is that like you guys at the gym making jokes, or is that what? I don't even know what that is. And then I'm like, it's a sitcom. But you know, they're kind of like, I don't know what you guys are doing. You're kind of all over the place. Yeah. Right. And I'm like, okay, well, like I get that you don't get it. That's totally fine. I don't really care whether you get it or not. But the people that do, like, eventually you'll understand it, right? It's the same thing. Like, you can imagine any brand can be kind of like that, right? Where you see it at first glance. Like, let's say you had no idea what Nike was, and everybody's wearing this thing with the swoosh. Like, why? It's just this. Yeah, it's just exactly. This. What is? I can draw that myself. I don't know why you're so hyped about it. Yeah. But the people that get it, they're like, yo, fucking Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? Like, yo, it's fucking.
It's not meant to appeal to like everything. Like, you got to get into it, and then you get the like.
Yeah, that's like anyone. Like same thing when I first saw Gary Vee, right? You're kind of like, this guy is fucking really rude. Like, he's just cutting off Casey Neistat, and like this guy's like really, he's just like, yelling all the time, and and then eventually you get to know him. You're like, oh, okay, no, he's just like that.
Also, like a lot of these things like that are created, they usually when you have to tell people about it, there's usually like an elevator pitch, you know. Involved with it to explain it, you know, like a little tagline, like you talk about One Piece, be like, it's about a bunch of pirates and they're like all competing to be like the pirate king or something. I don't know, I haven't watched in a long time, but anyways, the beauty of this is guys making videos is literally the elevator pitch, like from the get-go. The name is the elevator pitch. There's just a bunch of guys making videos.
Yeah, and nobody's actually taken that channel on YouTube significantly. We are the most significant like guys making videos channel that I saw on there. Even if somebody else has the same name of the channel, like nobody's making videos like we are. Mm-hmm. And you think there would be guys making videos? What a like basic ass name.
Yeah,
like,
I know, right?
Why would
maybe that's what I know. Like when we first,
we are the guys making videos. We're guys making videos.
Thinking back though, like when we first came up with the name, I was like, really? That's the name we're gonna go with? It's so generic. No, I was like, but I was thinking like the Rooster Teeth and like just let's come up with a random name and word. Or whatever.
There's clips of us thinking of. Do you remember that in the first vlog?
Yeah, I remember that. Okay. Yeah, that episode where we were all coming up.
You're like, no, bro. Were you the one that was like, no, bro?
Please no, slow, bro. No. I said some random shit. But yeah, I was like, no, bro. Please, no, bro.
Please, no, bro.
But guys making videos, I was like, I can accept that. Like,
and here we are. Yeah. However many years later.
Well, that's a pretty good way to end off. We'll see where this goes.
Yeah.
This might just be the one post for the year.
That's it. We're done. And we might not ever make any posts after this ever.
That's right. All right. Well, thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching. Hopefully, we'll see you guys again soon.
We will. Okay. We. How did you do that?